Alright, so we got a 3-match PvP video coming up for you guys here. Again, using the BloodHoof, the Torn Chieftain. First match here, see it's against the Death Knight. I've come to find out that you run into a lot of Death Knights while doing PvP. I mean, if you look online at some of the tier lists, he's up there. I mean, some have him, I think, across the board, they're putting the Death Knight at tier S. You might find a couple of them at A. And really, I mean, I think it's just the fact that he spawns the units out of his towers. Can kind of be tough to handle. You know, you have to protect your miner if you really want to take advantage of any of the gold mines. You know, again, I've mentioned in previous videos, I kind of just tend to push the mid lane hard. And if you time it right, you get those gold chests in there. If you can control that, that's four extra gold on top of what you're getting. So yeah, I mean, kind of my strategy with playing against Death Knight is just push that mid hard still. You want to maintain the side lanes. You don't want him controlling or capturing your secondary tower, because then that just spawns another minion. And that can be troublesome, but you know, holding my own here, not really having too big of an issue. I mean, he's pushing real well, he's making it to my tower. And you can see hardly damaged his main tower as well. But another one of my tactics, at least that I've started to do, is when I send units on the left side, I change my waypoint so that they cross the bridge. 9 times out of 10, I feel like just ignoring their tower works. But as you'll see, actually, I don't know why it didn't occur to me, but I play another Death Knight later in this video, and I end up capturing his secondary tower. And I don't know why it took me this long to realize, but it's actually good against the Death Knight, because then he doesn't get that free unit spawn from that tower. He's just spawning a unit from his main tower, and it's a little bit easier to manage and control. But as you can see here, the Chieftain with the speed really helps to keep pressure on him. I mean, he's super meaty, tanky, and his attack that stuns is just really good. But here I am controlling that mid there, and then starting to push harder on my right lane. And as you can see, he really can't just keep up. I mean, for the most part, you can ignore his single unit spawns from his towers. And they might get one hit on your tower, but it doesn't do much damage. But you can see here now, it's about over. I have a full health Chieftain that made it to his tower. You know, and the Horde army, done right, I mean, as long as you keep your meat in front, it's kind of hard to deal with. So this first match here is a success. Nice victory. And we'll go ahead now and roll into the second match. Now this is against the Murlock. I kind of laugh at his guild name. Heroes of the Storm died for this. But I kind of got a little worried here in this match. I don't really run into the Murlock often, and he could flood you pretty quickly, as you'll see here in this video. I'm sticking with my same strategy, trying to control the middle lane and then just maintain the edges. But look at that wave that he just spawned, coming at me down the middle and down the side. I mean, the Chieftain's pretty solid against these little units. But as you can see there, if his stealth units attack you and stun you, he's got enough DPS and enough units that he'll drop you pretty quick. So that's where I say this push got a little scary, as he immediately took over my secondary tower. But again, these units die super easy. I mean, most of them get one-shotted. So once you get it under control, you know, that's kind of right there, you just saw it. That's the deadly thing, is when those stealthed units break their stealth and attack you, they stun you. and if he's got enough units on board when that happens, he's, you know, they can drop the tanks pretty quickly. But here in, I want to mention, I don't feel like I talk about it a lot, but the angry chickens, I don't see a lot of people using them, and I think they are a very good unit. For those of you who've played Clash Royale, and it's basically the mass skeleton army is what that unit is. You know, they're excellent at taking out single target units, and they're excellent at taking out tanks. And they just absorb attacks. I mean, I don't know how many chickens spawn with it, but, you know, say there's 10 chickens. That's going to be 10 attacks, whether it's 10 units attacking once or 1 unit attacking 10 times. You know, they're real good meat shields in a group, and really the only thing that hard counters them would be like the Bat Rider. The Bat Rider can take them all out. And Chain Lightning. I think those are the only 2 cost units. I'm probably missing something, but those are the only equivalent cost units that kind of just handle the chickens immediately is Chain Lightning and the Bat Rider. But, you know, as you can see here, held off the wave of Murlocs and kind of in a strong, comfortable position to just wrap up this game here. You know, he's got another push coming down the side. I kind of just ignored that tower once he took it. I don't think, I didn't pay attention really in this video recording, but I don't think I ever bothered to take it back. I just continued to push the middle. And as you can see, that strategy worked out pretty well for me. Now moving into the third match again, here's another Death Knight. This one here, I think, yeah, this is the match where unintentionally I took his secondary tower, and it made it pretty simple from that point forward. You know, maybe I've done it in other matches against the Death Knight in taking his tower to prevent that spawning of the other skeletal unit, but it just never clicked, or I never really noticed or paid attention to it. But now I feel like it's a pretty strong tactic if you can take control of his secondary tower. You know, that kind of weakens and handicaps the Death Knight pretty much, because that's his hero ability is spawning that unit. So I mean, you can essentially take away the hero ability, which in my opinion is a pretty big downside. If you can take away someone's ability just by some other mechanic of the game, and it's not like a temporary, you know, like polymorph, you can take away just a unit. With the Banshee, you can, Banshee's a whole nother story. I think the Banshee is kind of broken, but you know, the Death Knight, you can essentially take away, you can neuter him just by taking out the towers. So I mean, a lot of people use them now, but I think once more people realize that, I think they'll probably move away from them. But there you just saw in the center, the Banshee tried to take out my Tauren axe. Luckily my shaman there got the killing blow before it was able to haunt. But as I was saying, I mean, that Banshee, it's 4 cost. And I just think, I mean, a lot of units that are worth taking over are going to be 4 cost, so it's an equal trade. But I think what's really strong about it is that it nullifies and it turns their pushback on them. Obviously, the counter to the Banshee would be something like the chickens. I mean, because you spawn a bunch of chickens and the Banshee only haunts one of the chickens. So just those little mass weak units are how you hard counter the Banshee. But there again, you can see she took over my Tauren Chieftain. And it's just kind of a pain to end up having to deal with. But here we go again, still just same strategy, pushing the middle lane hard, controlling the chests, and then redirecting my left lane so it crosses over the bridge. You know, that way, if you're controlling it properly, you know, your miner is going to get your gold mine and their gold mine. But as you can see here, I control his secondary tower, and it's really just made it so much more easier. I mean, I can constantly send my miner down the left lane. I don't have to worry about his skeleton denying my mining, and he has to try to fight and control and win back my constant push down the middle before he can even worry about trying to get his tower back. I mean, if you just keep the pressure on him, it's hard for him to handle. And as you can see here again, this match is about to wrap up. So thanks again for watching. I want to keep on posting these. I'm trying to do it daily, but thank you all for anyone who watched.